Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Friday. Yeah, I'm losing my voice here. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about how everybody has to start somewhere. And even the best mechanics out there are probably where you're at if you're just getting started into the business. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know it. Yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, guys. You made it. May 8th of 2026. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about the best mechanics out there started somewhere, okay? And if you're having problems right now where you're trying to get things to work the way you want them to work and you're struggling a little bit, that's okay. And if you make mistakes and it didn't turn out right, that's okay. I probably learn more from my mistakes than I do from the stuff that I get accomplished. And the key is when you don't get the desired results that you want. I found is instead of throwing everything out with the bathwater, look at what you did and is there a part of it that you can change and keep the main theme there. See, too many people, if it doesn't work, they will toss everything and then start from scratch. And then again, do it over and over and over again. And that part that is screwing you is part of every time you do it. So you need to be able to visually and, physically break down what you're trying to accomplish and then look to see where am I going wrong. A lot of times you could use 90% of the stuff that you are applying, but it's that 10% or less that's screwing you. So you need to find out what that 10% or less is and then change that versus trying to find and change 100%, right? The biggest thing that I see, that I found with me is I used to chase the highs. And what am I saying? Chasing the highs. I'm talking about, you know, I never enjoyed the journey. That's the first advice I'm going to give you. I would do things when people would say it couldn't be done. I not because it made me feel great or that. No, I did it because somebody said it couldn't be done. So I'm like, hold my beer, watch, and I would do it. But I never had a sense of accomplishment out of any of it. I built my own house. I built two of my friends' houses. Still nothing. It's in everything that I looked at as I look back when I was younger. What was the missing key? And that was I wasn't enjoying the journey. It was always a rush thing. And I would get up pissed and upset and I would do it myself because I'd say people are incompetent. And you get to the point of where people don't even want to hang around with you because you're such an a-hole. And I'll admit, I was like that when I was younger. I was what you would deem as a know-it-all. And I talked about this the other day that, you know, in my teens I thought I knew everything, and now that I'm 63, I don't know squat. That's the difference. I mean, if you can get this wisdom when you're in your 20s, you're golden. And that is enjoy the journey from point A to point B. Don't just focus on B and getting there. It's everything in between. It's the relationships you have with other people, the mentors that you have in your life, the family. You need to take time for all that and enjoy it. And if you let your guard down enough so that you can start enjoying the journey, people are going to want to hang out with you. And building that house, you're going to have a lot of help because you're a great guy. But if you're a pain in the ass, you're probably going to be there by yourself. You see what I'm saying? So if I were to do it all over again, I would lose the attitude and the chip on the shoulder and create and enjoy more relationships back then. But I see so many people give up too quickly. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you have some really great mechanics out there, okay, that you probably know of. The key is if you ask them, they all started the same place you're starting. Some learn faster than others as far as how to make mistakes, turn them into problem solving and finding fixes, okay? That's what great mechanics came from is a younger mechanic that made a lot of mistakes and learned from them. And the quicker you learn from them, the better you will be as far as being one. But I always tell people, don't get into it for the money. I don't care what profession it is. Don't get in it because you think you're going to make a ton of money. Money comes secondary. If you don't if you don't see enjoyment or find enjoyment out of doing what you're doing, you will not stay true to it for long periods of time. It will be that fix that I was always looking for is once I got to point B, I'm like, I didn't get a fix. Now I got to get to C and then to D and miss the whole journey of getting there, if that makes any sense. It doesn't matter whether you're a retiree or someone in their teens or someone in their 20s or 30s that are wanting to get into this profession. There's room for everybody. And I think with the small engines, it's easier for where you don't have a bunch of computer equipment that you're trying to diagnose things, okay? Cars, automobiles, you guys that have them, you probably got $5,000 to $10,000 scanners sitting there, right? The average guy can't afford to go out and buy that. It has to be a shop that's staying pretty busy. But small engine repair is still pretty much carbureted. You have the batteries that are coming in now on the handhelds, and you have batteries going into zero turns and all that, but you got the EFI systems that have come in. But there's still a lot of stuff that's run with carburetors. And if you can understand what everything does in that carburetor, then you're ahead of the curve. And that's one of the things that I teach is if you're just starting out and you want to tear a carburetor apart, start from your first part and put it the farthest away on a clean table. And I put down paper towels. And I start by moving them closer to me as I get closer in, okay? But the other thing that I do is I start looking to see what each part does. Now, if I took a carburetor, I can do it now, but when I was first starting out, if I took a carburetor and threw it into a pile all broken down, threw in the ultrasound, I wouldn't be able to put it back together because I didn't know what the pieces were. And that's what I'm getting across to you guys is you learn from your mistakes. And if you throw it into a pile, throw the remaining carburetor into the ultrasound, you will be on YouTube looking for a video of how to put that carburetor back together instead of laying it out the way I'm telling you to. And then I want you to learn what each piece is and what its function is. Everything from a needle seat to a diaphragm and the two strokes that pumps the fuel. The fuel pumps in the four strokes, but inside the four strokes, your fuel pump is external, okay? You need to know what each part does and why it's important. And That way, if you're getting a lot of flooding or there's, it's the needle seat float, pretty much pick your poison. In the comments, you guys have been at it. Jason, Amos, you've been at it for quite a while with the Jeeps and military stuff, working on all that. Am I hitting the head of the nail with the hammer? I guess what I'm trying to get across is we all started somewhere. And the only way you're going to get good at things is by making mistakes. And it's even better if you can get teamed up with some mentors that are in that profession that you want to be in. If it's small engine repair, why not go down to the local repair shop and hang out with a mechanic? I'm not saying get hired by them, but you may end up getting hired if you sit there long enough. But there's probably people right around you that still do their own service, still do their own work on their machines that you can get teamed up with. We've got some younger boys that are into it that at least once a week they show up and they have questions. And I take the time to go through and mentor them on not only what it's doing, but why it's doing it and workarounds. Like with Claude out in the shop, I pretty much cut him loose and let him do whatever he wants. But I still have input into it of how to get the shop to get the work in and out quicker, okay? And just simply having a system in place. If the system is working, that's the one you stick with, right? You may have two mechanics and they may do it a little bit differently, but if they come out at the end of a service about the same time, I'm okay with it. But we pressure wash, let it run for a minute where it's warm, come in, drain the oil, do the spark plugs, fuel filter, oil filter, and blow out the air filter or replace it. Just in the time it took you to drain the oil, you've got 5 jobs done. You do. And then you start front to back. Like you're checking the blades, see if they need to be replaced or touched up. You're scraping the deck underneath. You're blowing whatever stuff is on top of the deck that the pressure washer didn't get. You're greasing the spindles on your deck if it's got greasable spindles in it. Checking the hydrostatic transmission. You're checking all the belts, the pulleys. You see what I'm saying? If you were to watch Claude and I do a service, you probably have questions of why we do things a certain way. And it's because we've tried things differently and this works the best. And we have certain things in the shop, it's like the check engine oil dipstick we put on top of the flywheel, and that signifies to him and I that there is no oil in it. Do not start it. It needs oil added, okay? So if I'm doing an oil change and I get the 5 things done, the phone rings, that signifies that I haven't put oil in it. So the first thing he does before he jumps onto mine is he'll put oil in it and then make sure that it's full. Let it run for a minute and then recheck it and go on. I guess what I'm trying to get across to you is we all start somewhere. And you have to have a passion for it. If you're doing it for just the money, you're not going to put the effort towards it. If you're doing it because it's a great pastime, nights and weekends to make extra bucks, that's great. Maybe you want to become a mechanic in a small engine repair shop. That's great too. There's a lot of shops that will hire you at a lot less than what their mechanics are making and team you up with somebody that is a really good mechanic. I'm starting to lose my voice. So on that note, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll be here back bright and early Monday morning for another episode of The Weekday. Remember, we all started somewhere, guys. On that note, you guys have a great Friday.